Hi guys, welcome back to Unapologetic with me, your host, Kelsey Kruger. I know. Okay, I know. Yeah, it's been a year. I get it. Pretty wild. But let me say that I have not tried, okay? I sat down and filmed this exact episode probably a week or two ago. And for the millionth time, because this is not the first time I have done this, I go to edit it and it was entirely filmed in slow motion. And something about the Sony camera that I have is when it's filmed in slow motion, there's no sound, okay? So yes, I could have sped it up, and I did speed it up, but there's still no sound. It doesn't record the sound, which literally drives me nuts. And there's no way, at least in my knowledge, for me to see that I'm filming it in slow motion. It's just honestly bizarre and so beyond irritating. And I have done that literally several times. So you can imagine how discouraging that is, but hey, we're here, okay? We're filming, we're doing it. I'm sitting down, we're talking, we're chatting, okay? We're catching up. So originally for this episode, I had planned it to be about anxiety, as it's something anxiety is really an emotion that I've really gotten to know over the last year. Okay, I had a pretty insane year since we've chatted, and anxiety was right there with me, which is something that I've never really felt before other than situationally. So came with a lot of navigation. And I really wanted to sit and chat with you guys about that and sort of how I navigated through that, what I'm finding helps and works. And at the end of the day, I'm a 22-year-old girl living life for the first time, as we all are living life for the first time, and really just coming into myself and navigating this world. I think as the older you get, the more stress that you have in your life, the more responsibilities you have. I really firmly believe that life only gets harder as you age, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's a beautiful part of life, but I just think it's true. And so all new emotions come with that. And for me, this past year has been a lot of anxiety, and yeah, I really just wanted to sit down with you guys and talk to you about that. But I feel that it's been so long that we just need to have a little catch up, okay? What have I been doing this past year? I want to hear what you guys have been doing this past year, because it's been a long time and I'm so sorry for that. And I promise you it'll never happen again, okay? As of now, it is January 4th, 2026, okay? And 2026 is a year of consistency for me and stability for me. That's a goal I have going into this year. I feel that some people in general either love or hate New Year's resolutions. I don't know who I was talking to, but they were like, New Year's resolutions are so stupid. I hate them. It's just so self-righteous and people never do it or follow through and yada, yada, yada. And for me, I think the new year is such a great point of reflection, because it really forces you to pause and reflect not only about what you might want to achieve in the new year, but also a great point of reflection for what am I so thankful for this year? What lessons did I learn this year? What am I grateful for? Who am I sitting here today going into the next year? And I think those resolutions, at least for me, are very symbolic of not changing who I am, or like, I'm not a new year, new me gal, because that's just, you're growing all the time, okay? And that's unrealistic. But it's like new year, new goals, new year. I've learned something about myself over the past year. I've experienced something over the past year, and I want to build on that. I want to shift my mindset on something. I think it's a really positive thing. And yeah, I have a lot of goals, and one of them being maintaining a routine, maintaining stability and consistency in my habits specifically. So whether that's my health and wellness, whether that's honestly anything. Just, I want more of a routine. I want to stick to something. Like, there's some months, which I think is pretty normal, but I just want to build healthier habits. There's some months that I'm going to the gym 5 days a week and I'm eating super clean and I'm on top of it. And then there's months where I'm going to the gym once a week. I am eating clean on occasion. You know what I'm saying? And I want to find something that's normal for me, right? That I'm able to maintain. Maybe it's the gym 3 days a week, 4 days a week. I'm eating healthy still. Like, finding that balance and a routine and sticking to it and having some discipline. Same goes with this podcast, okay? Whether that be anything I do in my life, and something else is growing my faith. I want to have discipline in growing my faith, because that's something that as I'm getting older is becoming really important to me, and I want to have discipline in that. I want to hold myself accountable to things I say I'm going to do. And that being my podcast, I want to record my podcast often. I want to come on here and talk to you guys often, because that is what I'm passionate about. That's what I'm committed to do. So I started this and I need to follow through, okay? I need to do it. In this new year, we are doing that, okay? I am putting out at least one podcast a month, okay? You've heard it here now. You've heard it here now. One podcast episode a month. I think that's very doable. And then, as I manage that, let's get into more. But I think that it's very manageable, and I'm going to do that, whether that's more or less, but minimum one, okay? One podcast a month. So let's catch up, okay? What has been going on in my life in an entire year, okay? The answer is a lot. Also, this microphone, you guys, is so heavy. I am 100% sure this is meant for at the table podcasters, where they have like a table and like headphones and they're all set up, and that is not me, okay? To be honest with you, I don't even know, because I sit here and I record the audio on my phone as well, so I can hopefully publish them on like Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts or whatever platform in that way. But I don't even know if this works, truthfully. I don't even know if you can hear me. I don't know the settings. For being a 22-year-old, I am the most technologically challenged person you'll ever meet. It's ridiculous. Okay, so we're just winging it. We're honestly just winging it. But let's see. This year for me has been such an immense year of growth. This year for me was really uncomfortable. I had a lot going on. I was in a job that I was so miserable in. Like, literally so miserable in. And I believe that fed into a lot of my anxiety this past year, but it did teach me so much, right? But my job was so lucrative. It was so demanding. It was so, I don't want to say culty, but I mean, it was definitely, my job, if you know, it's definitely very culty vibes. But I just had no freedom in myself. I didn't feel valued, which is how the system is supposed to make you feel in where I was. Like, they were doing their job, right? But it just did so much to my mental health that I was back in the service industry. So when we first started talking on here, I was teaching preschool, which I absolutely loved, but it wasn't paying, the bills, so to speak. I needed some things in my life. I needed a new car. This past year I did, by myself, on my very own, buy a brand new car, which is insane. At 21 years old, I bought a brand new car, freshly 21, which is crazy to say. Worked really hard, and that the job that I hated provided me with that, right? So there was so much that came with it, and I did grow a lot. But that being said, I was teaching preschool, wasn't cutting it, loved it so much. My passion was there. I felt like myself. I felt like I was fulfilling something that God put in me. Like, I just felt like I was really, my soul was happy, okay? Then I was back in the service industry, and you're working late nights, and you're in an industry where you're looked at like meat, and it was just very taxing on my mental health and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was that basically. But I have since been gone for several months now, several months, if not at least 6 months. And I am in a job that I love. I am nannying, and I am literally so blessed. Sorry, we're backtracking here. Okay, I just have to have this little metaphor. So I had pride myself in the fact that I have got any single job I've applied for. Any single job I've applied for, I've walked in and I've got it. And except for one this year, okay? I had walked into a golf course, granted before teaching preschool and while I was teaching preschool, because I still worked there for a year while I was teaching on the weekends, and I had 3 jobs at one point, you guys, 3 jobs. I worked at a country club for 3 years. I was a woman of many talents, okay? I was a server, I was a host, I did events, I did the beverage cart all the time. Like, I did everything, okay? Wore many hats. And when I was trying to get out of the restaurant that I was in, and I need to get out of here. And I kind of, on the whim, had a friend connect me to the golf course she worked at. And I was like, please help. It was kind of at the end of the season. I was desperate. I was like, I need to get out of here, okay? And I didn't get it. I was overqualified for it. But I didn't get it. I felt like my interview, I wasn't like myself. It was just weird. It was off. I didn't get it. I was shocked. I was confused. I was like, what? And it isn't that big of a deal, right? It's a golf course job. Life moves on. But it really messed with me for a second. I was like, what the heck? And then really this year, I feel like I'm growing in my faith, and I truly believe like God has a plan, and what's meant for you will not pass you by. And very shortly after that, I decided I wanted to be back with kids, but not in the classroom. I'm finishing school this year. I will be graduating in 2026, mark my words. I am finishing the school this year, and part of my schooling requires me to do student teaching. So I will have to student teach at the end of this year. I don't want to be tied to a classroom job because that's just a commitment that I can't fulfill for a whole year. So on the whim, I was like, I'm in a nanny, right? I'm going to be a nanny full time, which wasn't really something I was even necessarily wanting to do. Just in terms of your life revolves around somebody else's life specifically. You know what I mean? It's not like you work at Target and you have to call out you're sick or whatever have you, and there's 15 people that can stock the beauty section or do your job or whatever that is. This is coming from somebody that's worked at Target, okay? And your life revolves around somebody else's life, and I just felt like that was a lot of pressure, not something I necessarily wanted to do. But I tried it. I applied for one job. I interviewed and immediately felt this sense of peace and belonging, and this is where I'm supposed to be. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I felt it instantly. I just knew. I pictured myself there. I knew that was where I was supposed to be, and lo and behold, I got it. I've been there for literally, let's do math, going on 6 months now. And that family I love with my whole heart. I love their children with my whole heart. It brings me so much joy, and I thank God I didn't get the golf cart job. Like, thank God. And anyways, this brings me back to what I had seen, and reframing your mindset of saying, if you knew you were 100 no's away from the biggest yes of your life, would you be that upset about the no's? You wouldn't, right? Because God has a plan for you. It's there for you. It's written for you. And you have to be patient and trust in Him and let it happen. And instead of being upset, like, ugh, I didn't get the golf course job. What's wrong with me? Yada, yada, yada. After the fact, being like, thank you, God. Thank you that I didn't get that. Thank you that was a rejection. And I don't look at it as a rejection, it's redirection, right? You're supposed to be doing something else. And that kind of realization in that moment really shifted my mindset for the whole year, and it's something I'm going to carry with me my whole life. It was a big learning lesson, big humbling moment, big learning lesson. But anyways, that's where I'm at now. It's kind of where my mental's at now. I am also competing in a pageant again, which is so exciting. I have been well over a year off, but I'm stepping into also a new organization, which is scary. because I don't know what I'm getting myself into, right? You just don't know until you know. And I was at church today and the sermon was really great, and just letting go of fear and trusting God, and really that is what I'm doing. And I feel so much peace in taking that with me into this new journey. Okay, I'm really excited. I'm going to be competing in the Miss America system, which I've never done before. I have always doubted myself and said, I'm not a Miss America girl. I don't fit the mold. You know, this isn't something I should be doing because I'm putting myself in a box, right? I'm the one telling. No one's saying that. No one has looked at me and said, Kelsey, you can't do Miss America. No one's ever looked at me and said that, right? These are things that I'm putting on myself. And so really taking ownership of that in my life this year, and that mindset of, no, like don't put yourself in a box, don't do certain things. And I think we all have those little voices in our heads, and really living and going without fear, and living boldly and authentically, which is what I'm here to help you guys do as well, based off of things I'm doing in my own life. And I need to take my own advice as well, right? And just leap into things with faith and the knowledge that I have got this, what's meant for me will never pass me by. And it's such a beautiful learning journey, right? I love it so much. Moral of the story, I'm really excited to try something new. I'm really excited to grow a part of myself that I didn't think was possible. Really excited for all of the above, okay? Yeah, so I think we've been over a couple New Year's resolutions already, right? I want to grow in my faith. Maybe that's a great place to start, okay? Give you kind of where my mindset is, where I'm headed this year, right? I want to grow in my faith. I want to build better habits, whether that's through my health, my fitness, my extracurriculars, if you will, my school, so I can get done this year, which is the ultimate goal. You guys, I'm hoping that I'll only be technically a semester behind when I was supposed to graduate initially. And like pat myself on the back for that, because putting myself through school has been hard. Working full-time through school has been hard, and being gentle and gracious with myself, but that is a goal. And what did I say? I said something, you guys, and I don't remember. You guys, I've lived about 7 lives today, okay? I've been up since 7 a.m. I've had 2 sets of makeup on my face. I had a pageant coaching session, also with somebody new. I went to church. I saw my boyfriend. I ran a couple errands. I'm here. My brain is a little tired, but we're doing it. I'm excited to be here more than you can imagine. I'm really praying that this is not in slow motion, because you guys, I can't. I might have to throw this whole camera away. I really might have to throw this whole camera away. Oh, graduate? Did I say that? Did I say graduate? I mean, I know I said it earlier, but you know what I mean. Did I say graduate in this? Oh, also, no doom scrolling, okay? Doom scrolling is staying in 2026 or 2025. No more doom scrolling, okay? We are living life to the fullest. We are building better habits and hobbies. I'm reading, I'm writing, journaling. You guys, I think my camera's dying. This is perfect, okay? This is unapologetic. This is my life. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that A, I have a perfect life, or B, I have everything together, or C, I can remember to charge my camera. Okay, here we are. But I better go. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for living life unapologetically with me. I promise you, it always pays off to live boldly, follow your heart, speak your truth, all of that. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.